Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, SIEM Augmentation, the Tale of Two SIEMs. My name is Chris, and I will be moderating today's session. And joining me today as our primary speaker is Sharat. He's the product marketing lead for the Chronicle SIEM product here at Google Cloud, and we're really excited to have him here today. Sharat has a history in cybersecurity, working as an engineer, moving up to product management, and ultimately product marketing for companies like FireEye, Tanium, and again now Chronicle and Google Cloud. So very excited to have him with us today. Very excited for you all to be joining us. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time out of your day to hopefully learn something from what we have to share. I would like everyone to know before we begin that this session is being actively recorded and will be available almost immediately upon the conclusion of today's session. And furthermore, we will be hosting a live Q&A, so feel free to use the control panel on the side of your screen at any point in time to ask those questions, and we'll help address them at the end. So moving on to the agenda today, we're really going to get into the why and how you can augment your SIEM with Chronicle, and not just augment your SIEM, but really augment your entire SOC stack. Again, using Chronicle. We'll get into the benefits of what augmentation offers you and some of the more common use cases that may impact you already. We'll get into the literal architectures and see how data flows between the SIEMs, can even flow into a source solution, and really how it affects your entire operations. And then ultimately, we'll provide an action plan that includes both short-term and medium-term steps you can take to kind of evaluate Chronicle, evaluate SIEM augmentation, evaluate your existing SOC stack, and hopefully ultimately lead to an easier solution for you and your team to be taking advantage of. So without further ado, I'm actually going to just hand things over to Sharat so he can immediately get into the meat of this presentation and the content. So with that, Sharat, take it away.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. My name is Sharat Ganesh, and I lead product marketing for our Chronicle SIEM product line at Google Cloud. Our topic is very interesting today. There are various customers and security organizations who are at different stages of their security operations journey. There are customers who are building their foundational capabilities all the way through to big, massive, mature organizations with millions in tools and resources. We at Google want to make sure we are meeting the customers where they are on their security operations journey, and the Chronicle SIEM product line and as a suite is solving for real impactful issues that really helps them accelerate their requirements and needs. So you may ask, why should you augment your SIEM? More simplistically, we break that down into three big buckets. There are some security organizations who think of tool reduction and consolidation in very, very literal terms. For example, some will only consider a new tool if it replaces another. However, leaders should instead evaluate whether the benefits of augmenting detection capabilities help them achieve the SOC mission. For example, suppose an organization can save millions of dollars by using 2 tools instead of 1. In that case, an additional tool may not be such a concern for most leaders, even if it leads to some additional complexity. Anyhow, transforming the SOC may require more than a better SIEM and a modern SOAR. Unlocking new use cases is a very key piece to why customers choose to augment. This motivation occurs when there's a way to gain significant additional capabilities and where the value of those capabilities outweigh the incremental cost. Such value typically comes from Chronicle's employee pricing model, its powers of data retention, scale, search performance, threat intelligence, and the overall approach we take to detection. It is also possible when a new tool addresses the use cases that an old tool does not address, Over time, Chronicle replaces those tools in those environments. And finally, ingesting new telemetry sources. We have seen customers not ingest really, really important pieces of telemetry due to complexities around cost, scale, and just challenges with ingestion. They could be also hampered in their detection response because some of the most important and critical data is not normalized and available to be made for investigation. More precisely, there are also industry examples where one security tool vendor charges as much for a 7-day retention as another charges for a year. So unlocking capabilities across cost, use cases, and driving additional telemetry sources are key reasons why customers choose to augment. So how do we start the journey of augmentation with SIEM? It is important to ask yourselves 3 important questions. Is your current detection and response toolset delivering everything and all use cases from detection to alert triage to investigation, response, and hunting? If the answer is yes, perhaps there is no immediate need for another tool. However, for many organizations, the current answer is no, or at least not entirely so, as they should consider deploying Chronicle SIEM alongside the other tools they use for detection and response. Sometimes the answer to this is yes, but it is just simply too expensive or the cost growth is unsustainable. That means that another tool may still be of value, especially if it is simple and won't cause an increase in complexity or an outsized increase in cost. And finally, the tool may deliver on the use cases required, but doesn't have the speed or scale that is required to keep up with the threats of today. If you're dealing with a real-time ransomware response, every minute and seconds matter. And we have to continuously audit our tools, technologies, processes to make sure they are meeting the highest bar of response time, efficacy, and ensuring it is serving the needs of the security operations analysts. To that end, Chronicle SIEM is relevant in all of these requirements, and we have captured 3 important use cases where Chronicle SIEM can augment your current environment. In many situations, Chronicle SIEM is selected as a threat hunting tool, incident response tool, or detection and response tool, or in some cases, all of the above. This means that another SIEM handles the tasks of compliance reporting and few others, and we have partners who cover those needs as well. These tools normally coexist and will need to be integrated in order for detection, reporting, and hunting missions to be successful. The organizations that need to achieve excellence in each of these use cases without breaking the bank augment their existing infrastructure with Chronicle. The question of data sources that would feed Chronicle, which is another SIEM, comes up a lot. Right? For example, if Chronicle is used for a security incident response, there's almost no data source that can be disqualified from inclusion. Naturally, in many augmentation scenarios where Chronicle SIEM coexists with another tool, in normal course of SOC evolution, it leads to the original tool being discontinued and customers anchor on Chronicle SIEM to take on more and more use cases. Let us see those use cases in further detail. And what are the key architectures that we are trying to drive for? The first one is ensuring we're driving log routing to 2 SIEMs. If the Chronicle SIEM is chosen to support investigation and hunting use cases, the tool needs access to a broad set of data. In this case, it would make sense to send all data to Chronicle and the subset to the tool for other purposes. For example, compliance, other multi-pass detections, etc. In many cases, however, it is important for a specially configured forwarder, a streaming event platform like Kafka or, say, Google Cloud PubSub should be implemented for easy processing. We then tie the end-to-end orchestration and response with a SOAR platform such as Simplify or another tool to unify the querying activity across multiple SIEM tools. The second key architecture where our customers deploy Chronicle SIEM as an augmentation strategy is having a complete SIEM and a focus SIEM. In this case, the Chronicle SIEM is utilized for detection and investigation, while the traditional tool is utilized for similar compliance use cases. However, in this specific use cases, while the Chronicle SIEM is used to analyze voluminous and demanding data sources, the traditional SIEM has more traditional data sources. Naturally, the SOAR solution is key here, and they can make API calls to both SIEMs, as is shown in the architecture here. And the final piece is sending the logs through one SIEM to another. In this architecture, raw data or alerts collected in the existing tools are sent to Chronicle. This is a very interesting and compelling design. However, it comes with various caveats that you need to be aware of. The investment in log ingested infrastructure and configuration is preserved, as is the existing detection content. While SIEMs generally are optimized to ingest and process data, they often perform poorly when exporting raw data at scale. If the existing SIEM is deployed in public cloud, exporting large amounts of raw data may result in unexpected egress costs. In these challenges, some customers may choose to only send alerts to Chronicle. The use case of SOAR for case management, alert triage, collaboration is recommended for all customers in all scenarios. There are various other factors that influence SIEM augmentation architectures. For example, defense industry customers may have significant requirements for segmentation of data and therefore are more willing to build and manage complex topologies. Another factor is data residency for global organizations. The architectures we shared with you today represent just a few examples. However, many other permutations are possible. The architecture choice has flaws, though, due to the second SIEM getting the data via an intermediary and thus increases the chances of error. In summary, the three augment architectures cover more situations where Chronicle SIEM augments the value for customers by being used with another SIEM. We need to make sure that we are working with you in identifying the right augment hierarchy specific to your particular use case. Now, what to watch out for when augmenting? There may be challenges with data collection. Some of the data sources do not support being sent to multiple destinations. In some cases, sending logs to a different destination can cause increased egress costs. In other ways, split data needed for one use case while deploying the architecture for Chronicle and another tool where the data exists in multiple sources may arise. For example, while chasing a threat actor using threat hunting, it may turn out that a certain data set isn't available in Chronicle, but is located on another tool. To mitigate this, using a SOAR that can query multiple SIEM tools is incredibly important and helpful. Multiple workflows can also add complexity, and complexity is the main risk with scenarios involving multiple SIEM tools. To streamline the workflows, a SOAR tool can query multiple repositories and mitigate that challenge. The challenges with detection content deduplication, if both are used for threat detection, making sure which one is the higher efficacy tool, and where to anchor your detection response program is fundamental and important. And finally, ensuring there is one source of record for end-to-end coverage across your SOC lifecycle is a key point that SOC teams need to be aware of. In many augmentation scenarios, Chronicle exists alongside another tool. Evolution leads to the tool being phased out, where Chronicle takes on more and more responsibility. In terms of having an action plan, in terms of short-term recommendations, it is important to an audit and review of your detection and response tools and processes. Identify the gaps in current use case coverage. Map out what are the key sources of telemetry that are important and foundational to your SOC response. And then identify the costs and challenges that needs to be addressed. On the more longer-term view, identify key cloud scenarios that are not addressed. What are the opportunities and choices for having a joint augmented architecture? How do we insert orchestration, automation, and response to your SOC processes? Run a proof of concept for Chronicle on your data and understand how to drive that in an effective way. I hope that helped cover the ways Google Chronicle is able to augment SOC architectures. We look forward to your partnership and hearing from you in terms of where you are on your SOC journey and how we can be an effective partner on that journey. Thank you so much for your time today, and we look forward to your questions.
We'll start the video and we'll be good to go. Awesome. Thank you for that presentation, Sharat. As mentioned, we're going to jump into a Q&A now. So if you can use the control panel on the side of your screen to ask those questions. A couple have already come in. So getting started, do you need to be a GCP customer to use Chronicle?
Great question. Short answer, no. Chronicle is a SIEM product that is built for the industry at large, whether or not you're a GCP customer or not. You can ingest any telemetry across all cloud providers and centralize your SOC stack using Chronicle. Great question.
Yes, we are cloud agnostic. The second question that's come through so far, what is the default log retention period for Chronicle?
So, retention is a very, very important topic, and it's a critical foundational challenge for security teams everywhere. And we understand that challenge here at Google. So by default, we enable and allow our customers to have 1 year of telemetry retention for free with every deployment. So it unlocks various use cases, drives additional compliance, and you're able to see historical record of threats in your environment.
Awesome. And we've had one more question come in so far, which is, can you speak more about Chronicle's threat intelligence and detection capabilities?
Yeah, I think speaking philosophically, threat intelligence is a very, very key point. You first need to be able to detect the bad actors in your environment, and the efficacy of your threat intelligence is foundational to that effort. And we at Google take it very seriously. We, in fact, secure more people on Earth. We have 4 billion Chrome OS devices and protecting users via Chrome safe browsing. We have hundreds of millions of phishing emails that we prevent on Gmail every day. All of that intelligence, along with the largest repository of threat information with VirusTotal, is codified as detections within the Chronicle platform. It enables customers who do not have, say, scores and scores of analysts in their employ to be able to use the collective intelligence that Google has and deployed in your environment. The second piece of detection is detection engineering. Chronicle also offers a very powerful detection authoring platform for customers who are a little bit ahead in their SOC journey to build customized detections catered to their specific environment. We take detection very seriously, and we continue to invest in identifying additional threats in this rapidly changing and dynamic threat landscape.
Awesome. Thanks, Sharat. We have another question. It's a bit of a loaded question, but someone wants to know, should teams today even try to create a single pane of glass?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting question there. And I will answer firstly as my view before I speak for Google. I think a lot of vendors more broadly try to advertise, hey, we are the one tool, one ring to rule them all. If I were to quote Lord of the Rings, do watch Rings of Power, nothing to say there. But however, what is the customer outcome that we are trying to drive? The customer outcome is a journey, right? And the journey goes this way. You need to be able to have complete visibility. So that means you need to ingest every single piece of telemetry you have. You need to have effective detection to find the threats that you need. You need to be able to respond. Hey, something bad happened. So what? You need to be able to respond to those threats. And then finally, continuously improve your existing tool stack that are in your environment. Right? This is the typical workflow that drives effective security operations. Now, you can either do that via centralizing on 2 tools, 3 tools. I think security is a community-driven initiative, right? We want to be effective partners in solving real outcomes. While having one tool to drive end-to-end workflow is an aspirational goal that we should drive to, we want to meet you where you are in your journey and get there. If that helps.
It does. And I think too, like SOAR is a pretty good option for creating that single pane of glass because it allows you to ingest all of the alerts and data, manage cases, perform automated investigations, response, things of that nature. So I think, that's another good solution for creating that single pane of glass. But the next question that's come in so far is also about threat intel. So someone would like to know if Chronicle has any out-of-the-box actionable threat intelligence sources, and if so, which ones?
Yeah, I think I briefly mentioned threat intelligence earlier. I think it is foundational and key to any detection platform. And we approach the concept of threat intelligence 2 ways. Obviously, we have integrations with other leading threat intel providers in the market, and you can bring in that feed into your environment, but Google's own native threat intelligence capabilities. We have a research team of Google Cloud Threat Intelligence, which is naturally made available for providing context and detections and alerting within your ingested data. We have integration and ingest with VirusTotal, which is the largest community-driven threat intel database in the world, right? And we continue to curate that intelligence on an ongoing basis and make it available for action within the Chronicle platform.
Cool.
Great question. Thank you.
Another question: does Chronicle have log buffering or log collector? So like an agent sent to buffer first before sending to the cloud?
That goes a little bit deeper into specifying the architecture. At the highest level, and I don't want to commit on that, in a broad form, but I will specifically answer the question that is being asked, like how do you normalize and how do you ingest, right? Our goal is very simple, and we want to make the journey into Chronicle very easy. Send us everything you have. We do the job of indexing, normalizing, parsing out of the box and making it available for action, and both in terms of hunting, investigation, detection, and response, right? So let us do the hard work, and we will help you on that journey. Additionally, in one of the augment use cases I mentioned, there are customers who use a log buffer agent, right? Google PubSub is a great example, is a Google product that you can use to streamline and manage your log ingest journey. There are customers who use Kafka as well. But we try to work with the customer and understand what the specific use case is and customize an approach for them that works for their environment.
Cool. Thanks, Sharat. It looks like so far that's the majority of questions that have come through. So really quickly, I'll bring this slide back up in case anyone asks any few last-minute questions. But really quickly, if you'd like to learn more about Chronicle, if you have any specific questions, want to see a demo, do a deep dive, you can visit chronicle.security/contact us, and we'll have someone respond to you right away and set something up. Likewise, if you want to continue to learn more about Chronicle, forgive me if I cut out there. If you want to learn anything more about our resources and more about us, you can visit chronicle.security/knowledge-base. But I think for now, that's going to wrap things up. So thank you, everyone, once again for joining us. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time. If you do have any other questions that come up, please feel free to reach out to us and ask. Similarly, thank you, Sharat, for this presentation today. We really enjoyed the content, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day.